I was in the doctor's office with my son, and after the appointment was over, realized that the doctor was frustrated because of all of the complexity he's had to deal with as a new employer. Dealing with payroll, managing benefit plans, dealing with a whole host of complex labor laws. After we engaged with him, we were able to take a lot of the burdens of being an employer off of his shoulders. And he was able to focus on taking care of his patients and building his business.
We had a client approach us about an impending retirement, and they were looking at different models that they'd never seen before. And when the analysis was all done, they could continue doing it themselves for a set amount of money, a large amount of money, or they could outsource it to us for the same amount of money. And when he looked at me and he said, for that much money, I'd rather it be your problem than mine. At that point, they became a client.
We had a client who has experienced about 100% turnover rate, and we helped them in 3 different areas: applicant tracking system, an electronic onboarding experience, and earned wage access for their employees, and it decreased by 50%.
A client had an employee with a disability. They didn't know how to accommodate them. Diving in, figuring out what the employee needed, what the employer could do for an accommodation, just saved them, because a lot of people don't know how to take care of that.
We just had one client who had an employee quit, and when an employee quits in the state of California, you are required to have a final paycheck for them at that time. She did not do that. We actually had somebody go into the office over the weekend who could actually cut that check so that she could have it when this employee came into work on Sunday for her final pay.
We had a client that had acquired basically the assets of a company that was nearly bankrupt and had an extremely high workers' comp mod because they had not, the previous owners had not managed those risks very effectively. We implemented a lot of safety procedures and practices, but we were able to cut their workers' comp exposure by about 150%.
I'm walking into the gym and a client looks at me and points at me and says, "I haven't thought about you for 3 years." And I said, "Then it's working." And he said, "Oh, it's working beautifully." And what's working is we took all this junk that he used to have to worry about and got it out of his way, and he didn't even think about it for 3 years.